Hello guys and welcome to a new video, this time about the All for One Excel tournament. So it's a company tournament from the MEWC DACH chapter. The original case was Census by Harry C. Watson, where I have a video about on this channel. I will link it somewhere hopefully. And yeah, Benny simplified the case a little bit, but yeah, if you know this case, it's about a data case. First we have here a huge table with some data. I will now create a table to use structured references so that I don't need to every time go back to the sheet, and then I do not need to keep out that I'm using absolute references to not get an error when I track this down. So first, this is an XLOOKUP in the city column, and then can now use the table where I have then, when I open this square bracket, I have all the different columns, and I want to return the number of households. So total population, you can either use a SUMIFS or a sum filter approach. I will show you both. So sum city population if city state is the search state. But you can also use a sum filter approach, which is my preferred method. So city population if city state equals the state, and this has the advantage that you can also do stuff like unequal or different kind of Boolean operations. So how much does the life expectancy go down? And we should, yeah, so XLOOKUP for the city name in the city tab, returning the life expectancy at birth minus XLOOKUP the city in the city column, returning the life expectancy at age 21. Yes. 60. Sorry. At age 60. Here we go. Now, here you can do multiple methods. One method is you write down a number here at the side. So birth is, for example, 1, 21 is 2, and this is 3. But you can also use the so-called switch function. Here, this is my expression I want, and then based on the different values in here, I make different operations. So this is birth. When birth, then I do an XLOOKUP for this in city, returning city life expectancy at birth. Otherwise, if it's 21, then I do basically the same. Therefore, I copy this, because being lazy at Excel is okay. Yeah. So, and otherwise, if I'm 60, then I want to have this at age 60. I want to multiply this with 12, and I want to round this. Round to the nearest integer. Okay, something wrong. Okay, hashtag name. XLOOKUP is going here. I've copied not everything. That was the problem. X lookup. Closed. Should be alright. Okay. This is closed here. This is closed too early. That was the problem. Here we go. So now level 5, and there I use a trick of those tables, because I can add here a additional column, and the advantage is I can now use this column everywhere. So you see here it's column 1, but yeah, I can add the statement or the header here. Now equals average household income times number of households divided by population, which gives you then the average income per capita. And if I round this to the nearest integer, I can then use this in here. So XLOOKUP, and then this is a simple XLOOKUP. So even it's a medium level, when you know a few tricks, city, and we want to have average income per capita, and level 5 is solved. Now, how many six-figure cities are there? And how many people live in there? So first I define what a six-figure city is. So here, average household income, six-figure city. Average household income should be 100,000 or more. So this larger or equal 100,000. And then I get a true-false value, and I can now filter based on this, or do an even a SUMIFS again. SUMIFS, city, population, if city state is the state we're searching for, and city, six-figure city, is true. And we can also use here again a filter approach. So sum filter city, population, if city state equals the state given, and now I only need to multiply with city, six-figure city, because this is because this six-figure city is a true-false value. So same result. But I have here a calculation error. This is the problem with the filter approach, but I can simply do an if error and a 0 to get to the same result. So now level 7. For each city, work out where in Excel state it's located. So return the specific row or column of the city. And yeah, there are multiple approaches to do this. I would prefer an lambda approach, but I'm not using lambda in this case. So I will concat first row, the row value and the column value with an delimiter in between. And then I will split this. So text before is now the row value of everything. And I want to have this as a single column, so to call. And name this. Now I create a named range, row value. And I use text after. to do the same for the column, and name this column value. And now I also flat the map with to call. Watch out that you only use the area you're interested in. And this is the named map. So, and now if this equals row, then xlookup for the city in map, which is my flattened column, returning row value. Otherwise, xlookup for this in map, returning column value. I have one problem. Yes, because this is this is in value and not on text. So therefore, need to add this. So now you see, because I'm using here in this case these are named ranges, I only need to reference the named range and not the whole reference anymore. So now to go to the bonus question, which city has the highest average household income? It's in so-called max lookup. So I'm looking for the maximum in the average household income tab, in the average household income tab. So first this gives me out the maximum, and then I'm looking for the maximum in the according column, returning the name. Which state has the most cities? Well, this is, you could kind of make, for example, something like unique city state, and then do an count if as for states and this would be then your criteria. You could track this down and you would have the result, which is a Excel state. Or you could use the so-called group by function. I will use it here that you can see it. It's called, because it's a new function, it can group by value, for example. So this, my row fields, which I want to have in a row, are the states. My values are also the states. And I want to count, but count A, and sort the second column in descending order. And now I have a table created where I have the state and the number of cities, even a total column at the bottom, but you can get rid of it. And now if I'm using here the so-called intersectional operator, I get only one result here. So this @ sign gives you out only the left uppermost value in this case. Which city has the longest name? It's basically the same here, but instead of cities, instead of max lookup for the city, I want to do a max lookup for the length of a city name, where you use the length function for. So yes, yeah. So I created with the length function. I created the length of the city name, and then looked up for the maximum of this in the length of the city name column, returning the city name. What is the total population of all cities that are not in Excel state? So the easiest way would be to go here and simply deselect Excel state. Then go in this column, here's the sum. When you click here at those short calculations, click here, you copy those numbers and put this number in. But yeah, I will not do this manual approach. I will use a sum filter approach. And so this is equal sum filter city population, not number, population if city state is unequal to Excel state. And you also get the result. Which row in the Excel state map has the highest population? So what is preferable? You do here an XLOOKUP for those cities, because XLOOKUP can also spill out such an array. And you look up for the city name, returning the city population. There are a few errors here, so these are all errors, but you can use the argument here in XLOOKUP, which is if not found, and then you hand out, for example, 0. And now we have this map, but with population numbers in. And now you can simply use a sum function and drag this down, which will also do just this, and then I will copy this a little bit to the side, which will also do just this, but you can then use an xmatch for the maximum of those values in the column, which is column row number 2, which is also the answer. Or instead of making this manually, you can also use the so-called by row function, which can apply a function row by row. In this case, I want to have the sum, and I get to the same result. But the advantage is this is a so-called dynamic array, and therefore I can simply make this dynamic. So if this would be then get larger, this and this would then get larger, this would be larger, and I am still applying to the same area, even if it's getting larger. Yeah. But anyways, my answer is 2, and with this we have solved all levels. Yeah, interesting, easy beginner case. Yeah, it took us 17 minutes, but yeah, this is fine. So, thank you for your attention. I hope to see you next time. Bye.